I'm the coordinator of family programs and services here in the new student programs office. We have both students and family members in the audience today. Today's session is focused on paying for college. So we have a couple of different people in the room here. We have new student program staff such as myself. We also have some students on the call. If anyone has any student-focused questions on the topic or any other questions we can help direct you to resources for in the meantime while you have our attention. We also have our Student Financial Services office here and our Financial Aid office. If at any point you have questions, you can submit them in the Q&A box that you'll find. It's probably on the bottom of your screen. Also in the chat, we'll be able to take questions there as well. But the Q&A box will be the best place to submit those. We'll do our best to answer whatever we can live, but we also can answer individual focused questions as well right there in the chat. You don't have to wait to submit your questions. You can submit them as they come up, and we'll just get to the questions towards the end. Right now, I'm going to start by introducing our Student Financial Services representative, Eric.
Hello, so I'm going to share my screen and we'll cover paying for college. Okay, so you should be seeing a red PowerPoint presentation and we will get right into this. So my name is Eric Anderson. I'm Director of Student Financial Services. Where are we located and what do we do? We are located on the second floor of the Stony Brook Union, Suite 207. We post charges to your student account. We process New York residency appeals, payments. We issue refund checks, parking passes, and campus card is also located in our suite. Estimated tuition and fees and estimated room and board. These numbers are per semester. So roughly the tuition and fees for an in-state undergraduate, which means you are a New York State resident, is $5,200. Room and board is about $7,700. Those can range slightly depending on which room and meal plan you choose. And also the fees can increase depending on which courses you take. There are some courses with specific fees. If, for example, you're taking a pottery class, there will be a fee for the clay. Out-of-state students, at the undergraduate rate, tuition and fees are roughly $14,000 per semester. And the room and board, there is no change in charge based on your residency. I cannot stress this enough. This is your student account, so you should be taking responsibility for it. You are creating a financial contract with the university. Regardless of who pays your bill, you are responsible for your invoice. Bills are sent to your stonybrook.edu email address. There are no paper bills. The first spring invoice will be due on February 15th and should be going out as an email and a solar message to you in the next few days. You can also create delegated user accounts for family members up to 10. They don't necessarily have to be blood relatives. They can be anyone that you deem should have access to your student financial information. This is a sample billing notification email. It's quite short. We want to keep it simple. It basically says your bill is ready to be viewed. You can pay it by the due date, and it gives a link on how to pay that bill. Again, this is your student account. To stress that, messages and reminders are sent to your solar account as well as your email address. These messages contain brief instructions or information about your holds. Refunds are sent to the bank account or address you designate. This is done through your solar page under campus financials. So if you would like refunds to be automatically deposited into a bank account of your choice, you log into your solar page, you go under campus financial services, and you click down here on the right where it says enroll in direct deposit. If you have any to-do list items or holds on your account, you will see it on your solar page top left in the holds and to-do list section. If for some reason you find you can't register for classes for a future term, you should immediately go to the holds section and see if anything is blocking you from registering. Delegated access. Now, I said you can have up to 10 earlier. This is a very simple process. Delegated users can access invoices, view tuition and fee charges. They can make payments and they can log in with their own ID and password. The common question we get from students is, can delegated users see grades or anything else? And the answer is no. It is only access to your financial information. So if you have someone else in your family that's helping you pay this bill, it would be in your best interest and theirs to make them a delegated user. In order to do this, you log into your solar page, you click share my information, which is the first option on the top right of your solar page. Click delegate access to a new contact. And then from there, it's about 3 or 4 very simple steps where the delegated user receives an email with a temporary password they can log in with. So paying for college. It's important you sit down and talk about money with a family member, a mentor, or a friend. This can be a confusing situation for many families because Paying for college is a unique experience and it has its own set of challenges. It's important you complete the FAFSA and check your to-do list on solar. You should create a plan for each semester. Costs increase year over year. They usually increase. So you should plan for the cost of a senior year to be greater than the cost of your freshman year. You should be looking for scholarship opportunities if you want to have alternate funding for your tuition and fees, your housing and meal. Then will your schedule permit a part-time job? And if it does, are you going to be working on campus or off? On-campus jobs go very quickly, so you should plan ahead and reach out to departments early. Your bill. So charges will appear within 48 hours of registering for classes. That's in most cases. However, this semester, our billing has not been sent out yet. So if you register for classes today, you're not going to see those charges yet until we send you a billing notification email, which again, will be towards the end of this week or early next week. Payment is due by the date specified on your billing notification email. The top plan. Many students want to spread out their payments instead of paying everything in one lump sum. This is the time option payment plan. We have 3 or 4 equal installments. All are due on the 15th of each month, with a one-time non-refundable $50 enrollment fee. If you enroll in the 4 installment plan, your payments will be due February, March, April, May. If you don't enroll in the 4 installment and you enroll in the 3, it's due March, April, and May 15th this year. So what happens if you can't pay? Some schools drop for non-payment. That's not something Stony Brook does. We let you finish out the semester. However, you can't enroll in the next term and you can't get a transcript or a diploma, and collections activity begins. This is the only time we send a hard copy paper invoice to your home. If you feel that you're going to have trouble paying for your education, don't wait till the last minute. You should talk to us. We are here to help. We might know of options that you might not be aware of. So we encourage every student to reach out to us and use us as a resource. So per SUNY policy, students who withdraw from a class may incur tuition liability based on date of withdrawal. What does that mean? If you drop a class after it starts, you might owe us money, and you might owe a percentage of the cost of that class and its associated fees. This is an example of a liability calendar. The current term liability calendar is always on the Stony Brook Student Financial Services website, which is stonybrook.edu/SFS. And I'll have that website displayed in a moment. So if you are thinking about dropping classes below full time after the start of classes, you should definitely check that liability calendar. And if you want an exact answer about how much you might owe, you should contact my office, and there's several ways to do that. So making your payment. Payments can be made via solar. We accept credit card, debit, and e-check. You can also mail a payment to us at our PO box. If you mail a payment to the Student Financial Services suite, it will take a very long time to get to us because it has to go through central receiving on campus, which is why we have our own PO box that we check on a daily basis. We accept credit and debit cards at our counter along with check. However, we do not accept cash payments. And the university is aware that some students may experience difficulties making payments or deposits through Google Chrome and Safari. However, most of those issues have been resolved. So if you experience any issues making payments, please contact my office. So in order to make a payment, you can log onto your Solar using Google Chrome or currently any other browser and make a payment through your Solar account. So what do you do if you have questions for us? Aside from typing them into the chat here, you can email studentbilling@stonybrook.edu. You can call us at 631-632-2455. You can also email bursar@stonybrook.edu. We have live chat agents available from 9 a.m. to 3:45 p.m. Monday through Friday. These are the employees of the Student Financial Services Office. This is not a robot, and we don't outsource our customer service. Also, our office hours are Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 8:30 to 5, and Tuesdays, 8:30 to 3:30 p.m. I don't see any questions in the chat. I will add, looks like one popping up. I will add that if you are paying with a 529 plan, you should initiate that payment very early prior to the due date. It typically takes 5 to 10 business days for a 529 check to be cut and delivered to my office. If we don't have the check in hand, then it will be late. Many providers will tell you that they're going to send it out right away, but we found it really is 5 to 10 business days, more likely 10. Let's see, can I pay through banks? That's a question in the Q&A. If you're asking to pay with a wire transfer, the answer is no. We don't hand out our wire transfer information to students or family members. If you are an international student, and you'd like to pay through a bank, you can pay through Flywire. That's our vetted third-party international payment service. There are others out there. However, Flywire has been very successful with Stony Brook. We have a good partnership with them, and they have been vetted by all appropriate offices. So if you're international, you'll be paying through Flywire, which is a drop-down choice on your solar payment screen. If you meant, can you pay with a checking account? Absolutely, that's one of the options. Any other questions? How does financial aid work? Well, we have to manually make payments, or will it be allocated automatically? So my friends from financial aid will cover basically all this, but I will say that your financial aid will appear on your invoice. So the invoice is itemized. The top section has your tuition and fees and all your associated charges. And then if you work down the invoice, you'll see any financial aid that has dispersed, which means posted to your account. You'll see any payments that you made, any deposits you made, and you'll see any anticipated aid which has not yet dispersed or paid out to your account. So you'll see it all on your invoice, which is the What Do I Owe page. And you'll access that through your solar account as well. Any other questions? Okay, I will unshare my screen and I will stay on the call. So if anybody has any student financial services related questions, I will answer them.
Thank you, Eric. We're going to turn the program over to Lindsay now from Financial Aid.
Hi, awesome. I'm just going to share my screen now. It should work. Everyone see it? Awesome. So this is paying for college, I would say part two. So we're the financial aid office. My name is Lindsay Johnson. I'm one of the senior financial aid advisors within the office. So let's just get started. If I can get it to go. Okay. So most of you have already completed this process. I should say you're in the anticipated aid section at this point. So as Eric mentioned, once you do get your bill, you should have the anticipated aid towards the bottom of your bill. If you do not have that, you definitely need to contact our office so we can take a look at your account. But I will just say high level, because the 22-23 FAFSA form is out and you're starting in the spring semester, know that they are two separate. So if you completed the 2022 FAFSA form, 2022-23 FAFSA form, that is for next year. So that is for starting if you're planning on using financial aid for the summer of 22, fall of 22, spring of 2023. So if you did that instead of the 2021-22 FAFSA form, you want to make sure you get on that right away. So FAFSA stands for the free application for federal student aid, whereas if you are a New York State student, you want to make sure you also complete your TAP application. That is considered state aid. That's done through hesc.ny.gov. I do have all the links at the end of this slide, so you can hop on there. Once you do that, we'll receive your FAFSA form. You want to make sure you're keeping in touch with your solar account. That is how our office communicates via solar, and we will send you any notifications also through your Stony Brook email address. Award notifications, like I said, should have been sent already. We do not send paper notifications. They are emailed to you, and they're also posted on your solar account. And then that's when your aid is posted as anticipated aid once you get your bill. And then the financial aid disbursements, when you log onto your solar account, you can see when that disbursement date is set. And an idea of what the word disbursement means, that just means that that's when we can release the funds. So if you have open to-do list items, most likely your aid will not disperse. So definitely want to make sure you get those notifications and to-do list items done as soon as possible to prevent any balances from opening up throughout the semester. So as I mentioned, many of you have already done the FAFSA form. It became available last year, but if you're coming up for the 22-23, it was available October 1st. Our Friday deadline for next year is February 15th. I'd like to let students know that now because a lot of students do miss that deadline. And in order to be considered for our federal need-based aid, you want to make sure you get that done by our Friday deadline. So New York State residents, especially if you're starting in the spring semester, if you were at another institution in the fall and you did a TAP application, remember TAP only allows you to put one school code on there at a time. So you may still have your old school. It's really important that you check your solar account. And if you see that your TAP is either estimated or is not showing up there at all on your award notification, that you log back onto your HESC application and add that our school code. Same as well, at the end of the presentation, I believe I have our school code, but you want to make sure you're adding Stony Brook. A lot of questions that we get are kind of what is financial aid. It's broken down into 3 different categories. So you have the grants and scholarships, which tend to be the money that does not need to be repaid. You have your federal Pell Grant, SCOG. Those are offered for the need students. It's based on your FAFSA form. Scholarships, unfortunately, we do not have scholarships for transfer students, but on our website, we do have a list of scholarships that students can apply for once they have started here. So I advise right now is the time to kind of look at those. Those deadlines can vary from starting in February to all the way till October, but now's the time to look for scholarships for next semester, fall 2022. On your award package, you probably saw there were loans on there. They're federal. You have subsidized, which was considered your need-based loan, and your unsubsidized, which is considered not need-based. If you have a gap, we can go over that. The options are private loans. There are plus loans that are offered. I'll go over that in a little bit. For those who have not received work study, there are still opportunities for you to work on campus. As Eric mentioned before, those jobs do go quickly. So you do want to make sure that you're looking on the Career Center's website. They have a website that's called Handshake, and you can log on with your net ID. And that's where you would look for job postings. So how do we communicate with you? As I mentioned before, we really focus on sending communications through the solar system and through the Stony Brook email address. So on your to-do list, you may see notifications that say not received or received, initiated, active. You want to make sure that anything that's kind of on there, anything on your to-do list item does require you to take action. So you want to make sure you're taking care of that right away, because that can result in the delay of your financial aid being dispersed, which can result in you having a balance due. One of the questions before is, are you going to be able to see the financial aid, or do you have to make a payment up front? You should see your financial aid on your bill once you receive it as anticipated aid. And this will allow you to make that decision if how you're going to make those payments, if you're planning on signing up for the time option payment plan, or if you're planning on paying in full. A lot of questions we have was, what should students do in the case where their financial aid is not enough to cover their balance or their outstanding charges, or if they have any like off-campus housing that they're paying for. So the options are, as we mentioned, paid in full, time option payment plan, but there's also the Parent Plus loan. So that's eligible for parents of dependent undergraduate students. The website is studentaid.gov. You can your parent would log on using their FSA ID. So remember that FSA ID is the same thing that you use to sign your FAFSA form. And there's also the private educational loan. On our website, we have some great resources as far as what to look for in a lender, how to kind of compare them. We have a loan lender list of some private loans that we vetted through. So I'd advise taking a look at that if you had questions about private loans. So since this presentation, I believe, is going to be posted somewhere for you to look, right? I believe, Megan.
It'll be in the recording on the video.
It'll be on the recording. So these are just some websites that we would advise you taking a look. Like mentioned, you have your solar account, FAFSA form, New York State application, what's financial aid. We have some really awesome videos that we've made for students on our YouTube page that will allow you to take a look on how to do your master promissory note if you need to, entrance counseling, how we communicate with you. We have calculators to help you kind of figure out how much you need to take out in a loan. And like I've mentioned before, kind of information on how our office communicates with you. So I am known for talking fast, and that is the end of my presentation. I'm going to stop the share so I can see the Q&A. But does anyone have any questions? Okay. Well, as Eric mentioned as well, we are actually right next to him. So we are in 208, room 208 of the Stony Brook Union. So generally you cannot get to Eric's office without passing our office. So feel free to stop by if you have any questions. Our doors are open. We always have advisors on call if you happen to come up with any questions. We can respond to you via email, and our phones are on between 10 and 3 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Thank you both. So we'll give everyone another moment or two to submit questions that they have. I do have a couple questions that we've gotten in other capacities that I think are helpful to share in this space. What are some of the programs that teach students how to be financially responsible that they have access to?
So we actually have a program called the Money Smart Seawolves. And so if you do stonybrook.edu/Money Smart, I believe is the website, that is our full financial literacy program. So we have information on there regarding how to budget. One of the things is called the world of work, we used to call it, where it's looking at students, advising students, you're kind of looking beyond the pay when you're looking for your first jobs. It talks about what kind of taxes come out of your paychecks and things to look for. We talk about credit and the importance of, now's the time to kind of start building that credit, understanding that your student loans may be your first line of credit. So we do have those programs, so I advise taking a look at that. And then throughout the semester, we do host events. I know sometimes we partner with Eric's office as well to do some events as well. So that's a great website to go to for that information.
Thank you. Eric, I know you spoke a little bit about the delegated access. What is a typical timeline once that is requested before the access is granted?
It's nearly instant. So the delegated user receives an email, and as long as they go into their email account and finishes the last 2 steps, it's pretty much instant.
And another question, is tuition adjusted if a student is taking any online classes?
So that's a good question. There are online only out-of-state rates for very specific programs, and those are set by SUNY. The student would need to not have a presence in New York State during the academic year, and they would need to be enrolled in one of those online only programs. There is a list of those on my website under tuition and fees. There are very few. So we have just a couple dozen students who qualify for those programs each year. So if you're taking online and you're a New York State resident, there is no additional discount. The tuition is already discounted as a New York State rate.
Great, thank you. All right, so if anyone has any last minute questions, now would be the time to submit them. Val, I know you haven't had a chance to speak yet, or Melissa, do you guys have any advice for your fellow incoming Seawolves?
Hello, so just to introduce myself to anyone watching, my name is Val, I'm one of the peer assistant leaders, so I work in new student programs, and us peer assistant leaders have a direct presence with any incoming students. I do have like a delegated supporter who has access to like my finances, so I would just say like being good with communication and reminders, because of course, maybe my family has a bunch of other things going on and maybe they don't always get a chance to look at their emails, so just being on top of it, and also just communicating, like if I need any extra time for paying for tuition, just whoever you need to just talk to them and let them know what's going on, so it doesn't all I guess explode in your face at the last minute, because you have support. You just got to make sure you're asking for it where you can.
Hello, I'm Melissa. I'm also a present leader. 100% agree with what Val just said. I don't have a delegated account because like my family just refuses to learn what technology is, so I don't even bother with it. But because of that, communication is like even more important because they're not directly seeing what my bill looks like, or they don't know when my bill is like going to come out. So like right now is a time where my mom is like, bothering me, like, where's the bill? How much do you owe? Are you broke? Melissa is like, no, it's not yet. At least not yet. So yeah, communication definitely. Also, like if there's any confusion with the bill, like I know for me when I was like a tiny little freshman, I had no idea what like subsidized meant. I had no idea what I was looking. I didn't know what TAP was. I didn't know what I didn't know what FAFSA meant in my life until now. So like any questions like at all, do not wait to the last minute, like the date's due, to be like, maybe I should figure this out. You don't do that. You have really great resources here. I mean, we just heard from like our presenters, like they're really like knowledgeable in what they're doing, and like it's not just them, they have a whole team behind them as well, so you're not alone. You have plenty of resources. You probably are seeing those memes where it's like me and my mom arguing over FAFSA. We can avoid that, okay? We can avoid that. And so reach out to these offices. The live chat option is like really useful for me because like I'm not really a good phone person, but like texting, like I'm on that, so they're flexible.
Thank you both. I do just want to put one additional plug in here. I know Eric spoke a little bit about on-campus employment. So for anybody that is listening and is interested in on-campus employment or off-campus employment, our Career Center will be on a program just like this on this upcoming Monday at 4 o'clock. So that will be Monday, January 10th. You can kind of just learn more about student employment, the Career Center resources and things like that. during that time if that is of interest to you and helping you, you and your finances while you're here at Stony Brook. All right, so at this time, I don't see any more questions coming in, so we're going to wrap up. If you do have any additional questions, you can email us at orientationoffice@stonybrook.edu, or you can obviously contact our partners at Student Financial Services and Financial Aid as well. I want to thank everyone for joining us on our panel, thank our families and students for being here, and we look forward to seeing you in the coming weeks. Thanks, everyone. Oh, wait, we got a hand. Hold on. I don't know if the hand is for a question, if you want to drop a question in there. Oh, wait, I see a question. Is it likely to get TAP if you signed up late last year?
Yes, you can still get it as long as you complete it before the deadline. So yes, if you have not done your TAP application for this upcoming spring, you can still get it if you're eligible for it based on your application. Yep.
Thank you. Sorry about that. I did see the question. All right. Thanks, everyone. Stay well.
Bye.
Bye.